Hey everyone, welcome back to the JavaScript course. So in this video, we'll be exploring about objects inside of JavaScript. And if you find this interesting, let's get started right away.
So in this video, we'll be exploring about objects inside of JavaScript. So inside my VS Code, I've opened up my index.html file, style.css file, as well as my script.js file. So there is some basic boilerplate code inside my index.html file and some basic styling given to the inside the style.css file. And there is a basic console.log message inside my script file. Okay, so now let's start exploring about objects inside of JavaScript. So what is an object? So essentially everything inside of JavaScript is an object. Functions are referred to as objects. And then arrays are referred to as objects, and then all kinds of regular expressions are also objects, and of course objects are essentially referred to as objects itself. Okay, so first let's create a basic object and then let's try to access the value and let's see how exactly everything works. Okay, so let's write const person name. So this is going to be the object name. Okay, and inside the braces we are going to write all the object values that is required. Okay, so essentially object is consisting of a name value pair, that is. Okay, so let's say we have a first name for the person, so let's write first name. So this is the name, and let's say the name is going to be John. Okay, so this is the value. So the first one consists of the name and then value, and each and an object can have many values separated by a comma. So let's write a comma, and then let's write the last name. Okay, let's keep it as store. Okay, so let's give another attribute, that is age, and then let's say 20. Let's also give a color white. Okay, so this is essentially a person or person name object that is from line number 3 to line number 8, which consists of several different features of that particular person, that is in the form of name and name value pairs. Okay, so we have different names, that is first name, last name, age, and color. So for each of the name we have that particular value. So for the name it's going to be John, so the last name Doe, and age is going to be 20, and color is going to be white. Okay, so this is essentially the way to create an object. So this is one of the way. So let's try to access certain values from this particular object. Okay, so there are several ways of accessing the values. So the first one is by making use of the dot operator. So let's say console.log. Firstly we're going to access that particular object, and then with the help of the dot operator, so as soon as I write dot, you can get all the suggestions, that is age, color, first name, and last name. Okay, let's access first name first. Let's copy this line a couple of times, and then let's pretty much access all the values. Okay, so over here instead of first name we're going to say last name, and over here similarly this is going to be age, and this one is going to be color. Okay, yeah, so let's go to our web page and then check all our console.logs. Yeah, so as you can see, we are able to see all the console.log messages that is coming from the object actually. Okay, so this is one of the way to access all the values inside an object. So let's check out the second method. So that goes like console.log. Again we're going to write the person name, and we are going to make use of the square brackets, and then as soon we are going to use the double quotes. As soon as I write the double quotes, you're going to get the options that we want to access the data value, right? So let's say I want the age value, so save, you're going to get 20 in the console, right? Yeah, so as you can see we are able to see 20 in the console. So that's the second way of accessing objects inside of JavaScript. Okay, so next we are going to look into how to create objects. Okay, so this is the first method. So the first one is going to be by making use of object literals. Okay, so let's try that out. So let's say const car equals to name. Let's give Fortuna, and then color is going to be white. Okay, so this is one of the way to create object, that is the first method that we already looked into. So this is known as the object literal method, right? So the second one is going to be by making use of the new keyword. Okay, so let's write that out. So let's say const bike equals to new object. After using the new keyword, you need to make use of the object, and over here we're going to say bike dot, let's say name, it's going to be Suzuki, Okay, and we're going to say bike dot color equals to red. Let's give another attribute. Let's say bike dot speed equals to 120. Okay, so this is essentially the second method by which we can create objects inside of JavaScript. Okay, so let's console.log the bike object and let's see how exactly it looks. It has to be similar to the first method. So console.log of bike. So let's go back to our console. Yeah, so as you can see, we are essentially getting it inside of an object, that is the name, the color, as well as the speed that we have given. Okay, so the next one is the next method is can be done by using object.create. That's another method. So we have looked into different kinds of method of creating objects inside of JavaScript. So next, let's look into another feature, that is objects inside JavaScript are reference types. Okay, so what do I mean by reference type? So let's take with the help of an example and understand this better. So let's say const food equals to, let's say item equals to, let's give chocolate, and let's give a price of, let's say 30, and let's say a color of mango. Okay, instead of color, let's give a flavor. Of mango. Okay, so next what happens is now we are gonna make use of another food item variable, and we're gonna equate it to this particular object, right? Let's write food. Now let's console.log both the items. Okay, so let's say first object, let's give a message, and let's access the food object, and let's console.log the second one also, that is a food item, which is going to be the second object. Let's write in food item. Okay, so now let's look into the console and let's clear out all the console.logs. For now, that's not required. Even the first one. Okay, so essentially we should just get only two console.logs, right? Yeah, so as you can see, we are able to get the same thing, that is the item chocolate, that is both the objects are equal. Now let's change and modify the second object. Okay, so essentially we're gonna say food item dot flavor. It's gonna be, let's change it to be chocolate for now, and now let us console.log the values and then see what is gonna happen. So first object is going to be food, and then console.log. Second object is going to be food item. So essentially we'll see what is going to happen. Is it going to change both the objects, or it's going to change only the second one, because we have changed it on line number 41. Okay, so let's check out the console. It is going to change both the objects. That is really weird. Yeah, so as you can see, let's remove the first console.logs. That's actually pretty much confusing, right? So over here, yeah, after I've changed, it's even changing the first object, right? But how did this happen? We only modified the second object, right? So pretty much object are reference type. That's the reason even if you change any one of the data in the second item, in the second object, even the first one is gonna get changed. So to prevent that, we are gonna clone it in a better way. So over here, let's say const items equals to, we're going to make use of the object, that is a parentheses. We're going to spread the value, and then we're going to access the food. Okay, so by making use of this, even if you change the items value, okay, we are going to get only the modified value as items. The food is going to remain the same. Okay, so let's give that a try. Let's remove the console.logs. So now we are copying, that is we are cloning the food object into the items object. So let's console.log the items first. So after doing this, to be honest, a new reference is created for the item. So let's start changing the items. Okay, and let's remove this piece of code so that we get the original one, that is chocolate, 30 and mango, right? Okay, so now let's say items dot flavor equals to, let's keep it orange. Okay, so now let's console.log first object, which is going to be food. and let's also console.log the second object, which is gonna be items, right? So essentially inside the output we should expect chocolate 30 and mango as it is inside the food, and inside the second object we need to expect chocolate 30, and then for flavor we need to get what do you say, orange, right? So let's save that out and check it out over here. Yeah, so there you go, it's working absolutely fine. So this is as it is because we are kind of cloning the value, and over here we are getting it as orange because we are pretty much cloning and they have different memory references. Okay, so that's the way this entire thing works inside of objects, that is reference types. So yeah, essentially we explored about how different kinds of objects can be created, and we can access different types of, different values by making use of two methods, that is this one, or by making use of the dot operator. And we also went and explored about the final part, that is how to clone an object correctly. Okay, I think that's it about the objects video. That is the basic part of it. Let's see you in the next video, and then thank you for watching.